In today's video we are going to send the first invitation to all our sample to participate in our survey. We do this in the mail template section. When CatGlobe sends out mails, it personalizes every single one of them, and this is based on a template. First thing we need to do is create the template upon which the invitation is based upon, and then customize this for every single respondent that gets the mail. We can either create a template from an existing list of templates, or we can create one from scratch. It would be very rare to create a new one from scratch, and in this case, we are also just going to use the existing template named invitation. The first thing it asks us is to replace some fields. These fields are determined by the content of the template, and if we press cancel we can see where it comes from. This allows us to design a very complex template, and yet, when you need to use it, you just fill out a few key pieces of information and you are done. Let's redo this and fill in something useful. When CatGlobe sends out mails, it personalizes every single one of them, and this is done using merge fields in the template. Let's take a look at all of the merge fields in the template. First, we need to enter edit mode. Here, we see a border around the first name. And if we mouse over, we can see a small icon of a person. This means this is a merge field for some personal information, in this case their first name. If we double-click it, we can select another kind of user information to merge into the mail. In the default template, there are 3 different links to the current survey: an image the user can click, a plain link with some text, and the third is a raw URL that the user can copy-paste from the mail client to the browser. Further, there are 2 other links. First, the feedback link, which leads the user to a questionnaire to tell about any issues or feedback they have. A future video will cover this in detail. Second, the opt-out link, which leads the user to a questionnaire that ultimately removes the user from the panel. One thing to notice, is that to prevent your mails from being marked as spam, you must have an opt-out link. The subject field of a mail can also have merge fields but is limited to a smaller list. A mail that lands in your inbox has 3 main elements that you can see easily: the subject, the content, and the from address. For the demo site, we have 2 options for from: either use the built-in email address, or use the external email address. 10 years ago, setting the from to anything you wanted didn't require any setup, but to combat spam in the world there are a lot of technical steps to complete before this is possible. Contact us if you need to set it to an existing mail. Next, we have the type of template. This is mainly related to quarantine rules, but it's also possible to hook up scripts for each type, and for reminders it determines who gets the mail. Quarantines have 2 components for mails. First is checking that we don't send to those people that are already in a quarantine, but the system may also need to add the recipients to a quarantine. The default setup is to check 3 different quarantines. First, there should be 3 days between receiving invitations to new surveys. Second, there should be at least 7 days from last time someone filled out a survey successfully. And finally, if they filled out a survey and was out of quota or screened out, they should not get an invitation for 3 days since then. We talked about the quarantines when we built the samples. It should be noted that the quarantine rules are checked again at this time. This is to prevent the issue where you made your sample the week before and this week, some of them are quarantined. Other issues that makes the actual number of mails different from your sample is people that got blacklisted, previous bounced mails, or people that opted out between the building of the sample and the mailout. We know that it will be necessary to send out a reminder to get enough people to fill out the survey, and the system fully support doing this in an easy way. When using the reminder template, we can see there is no real difference, except for 2 things. First, there is now a drop-down where we can select that this is an invitation mail or a reminder mail to one of the existing templates. Second, the type now tells us which people will get this reminder mail. Once we save and close, we can see that the reminder is now a child of the invitation to make it clear that it is a reminder. We saw how the mail looked in the browser, but we also want to check if our template looks nice in the mail client, or possibly we have other people that need to approve the template before sending out. To do that, we click the Test button. This window actually contains two different ways of testing. First, is as we just discussed, to send a test email. In that email is also a test link. A test link is a link that creates test answer sheets. A test answer sheet is the same as a normal answer sheet, except it has a flag marking any answers from these as test, and when reporting on the data they are excluded. It is also possible to check for test mode in the questionnaire, which we actually do in the default questionnaire template to show the text, "You are viewing this questionnaire in test mode." In the bottom half of the screen, we can see the test link directly. The link you receive in the mail will be the same as if we deselect reuse. Assuming we like the mails and anyone you need to review the survey has done so, then the next step is to send out the actual mails. Because it is very common to have the setup steps separate in time from the actual sending of emails, therefore there are two different ways of sending the mails out. First is found in the list we are already in. The other is found in the list of processes. The process of sending out invitations versus reminders are slightly different, so we take them separately. First, we send the invitation mail. On the left side is the list of samples we prepared in earlier videos. On the right side is the recipients of the current mail out. For our Razor survey, we want to make a small test run, just to see if any issues end up in our support mail, so we will only send out to 50. We control this by using the slider below. A few hours later and everything looks fine and we are ready to send out another batch. We could send out another 50 or 100 or however many we like, but we just want to send out to all the rest. The system automatically ensures that a respondent cannot receive a mail from the same template more than once. Once time comes to send the reminder, then we can see that the left side now contains a list of previous mail outs with the date and the number of recipients. Let's say we sent out 100 Monday, 100 Tuesday, 100 Wednesday, and today, Thursday. We want to send reminders to the 100 from Monday, which is made very easy by simply picking the mail out. The other main feature is to send to those that already clicked the link or those that did not yet click. You can specify schedule to automatically send email. We don't recommend you send reminders on a schedule, simply because you often want to check how many responses you got so far, but the option is there if you need it. Finally, we have some basic statistics on the status of the mailout. Sending massive amounts of emails is not an instant action, therefore don't be surprised if it takes some minutes or more before the mailout job has completed fully. That concludes this video. In the next we will show how to get the collected data out of the system. Thanks for your time and see you next time.